Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Friday, June 8th, 2018. My name is Rich, and joining me is the world-famous Bijan Naruzian. How was your night last night?
It was pretty good, man. It was pretty good. It was a crazy day. Not only on American Ninja Warrior, I was finally shown, y'all. I could finally talk about it. You know, I did a lot of stuff in my local neighborhood, too. You know, I was on the news, and I don't know, man, just a bunch of stuff. People are excited to have me on, on the program. You know, I wish it was longer, but dude, we can finally talk about it. This has got to be one of the most star-studded, action-packed episodes of American Ninja Warrior in history. I mean, that night was crazy, and there were so many stars out, so I cannot complain, man. At least I was featured. That's more I can say about a lot of people.
Yeah, it was so cool, and we didn't know, they were going to give a quick shout-out to the podcast, too. That was
Dude, that
awesome.
was dope. Yeah, especially, you know what, good on them. That was really cool because, honestly, NBC just started their own American Ninja Warrior podcast. By the way, shout out to them. Definitely check it out. Matt Eisman and Akbar are awesome on that program. But, dude, they gave us a shout out. That's awesome, man. And, yeah, I gave it my all, guys. We'll talk about it later. I look back and I'm just so angry at myself, for one mistake I was doing, but it's whatever. At the end of the day, it's all about, you have to be perfect, and we always talk about it. And next time, what can I say?
Yeah, so we want to try to sprinkle in some stories as we go here. We're going to be covering the LA Qualifiers, clearly, but we're also going to be talking Ninja versus Ninja, the semifinals episode.
Yeah, another good episode, man.
I
dude,
know.
There's a lot of good stuff happening.
It's too much. It's too much.
It's a
if there's
good
such a
time
thing
to
as
be
too
an
much.
American Ninja Warrior fan, bro.
It is. It really is. So right off the bat, I gotta say, I thought I was gonna hate the Jurassic World tie-in. I actually kind of liked it. It was cool.
Yeah, I like it to a degree. I mean, those raptors are I was laughing. It was so ridiculous. But the cool thing is that it never overstayed its welcome. That's the important thing. It didn't take up a 20-minute block of this program. And honestly, the excitement's palpable for, Jurassic World. So I'm cool with it. It's whatever. I feel like Chris Pratt and, what's her name? I forget. Bryce Dallas Howard's. They didn't really overstay their welcome. They're in and out. It was cool. I can't complain. Yeah,
the Raptors were cool. I've never seen anything like that before. That was really cool.
Oh, you never seen those? Yeah, they got them at Comic-Con and stuff like that. They're very lifelike. They got people in it and moving it all. Animatronics have gone crazy nowadays.
All right, so this is so weird to have you have so much firsthand knowledge of this. So, asking you what you think of the chorus seems so odd now. So
I gotta tell you, okay, right off the bat, guys, the ANW course is so much larger in person. I know it's you've heard it before, but I cannot describe to you the size of these obstacles in real life, especially when you're on them. It's even much larger. You're like, whoa, okay, this is way bigger than I was planning for. Yeah, plus it's very high up. You know that oh gosh, I don't know. We called it the crayon because it just looked like a giant hanging crayon. That thing was so far up in the air. That has to be a 15 to 20 foot in the air. I remember I was about to swing off those things and just looking down, and I'm like, I am really high, really high. And then I swung, and you got to kind of fly. And on the show, it just looks like a split second, you're right there, dude. I must have been freaking Superman. I felt like I was flying forever. And it was all kind of a blur at a certain point. But, man, just the size of these things. Not to mention, that mega wall is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
I can't even imagine. The idea of the mega wall, I feel like it can only be appreciated if you've ever stood in front of a regular warped wall.
And see how much it dwarfs it?
14 feet is huge. Absolutely huge. And this mega wall dwarfs that.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I remember I was saying under it, and like they're all talking. You get one chance and everything, and I'm just shaking my head like, heck no, man. Like, you fall if you don't know how to do a warped wall, and you try that mega wall, and somehow you get far up and you fall. Oh, you're gonna be in some bad times. That said, don't do that.
Right.
But
right. Work up to that.
yeah, seriously though, that thing is high, and it's so indescribable because like now you just see the television show, and now the warped wall just looks like a small thing where it's like, oh, I could do that. And it's like, no, you can't unless you try. Like, you preparing for that, you can, but like warped wall alone is insanely hard to do. I will say this: if you get up that mega wall, you damn sure earned that $10,000. They did not make it easy.
So we had two new obstacles. We should probably mention jumper cables, which you've mentioned, the hanging crayon thing, which I liked. I thought it was a good obstacle.
It was a really cool obstacle. It's visually cool, but we didn't know what it was about it when we were watching it, because what you didn't see is literally the first two obstacles took out about 50% of the field. Like,
really?
This episode was so action-packed because it had so many top ninjas and rookies actually completing the course that you didn't see a lot of people. Like, it was kind of the story of you're either getting past the first two obstacles and going deep in, or you're just done right there, you know? It took out a lot of the field, especially early on, you know. Obviously a lot of the rookies fall for many reasons. You know, the first obstacle, dropped some, and then the second one really dropped a lot of them. And it was a combination of the swinging, I don't even know what you call them, nunchucks, I guess. The trapeze nunchuck thing stops you before you get to the pad, so you can't really, like, grab it or anything. You just gotta, like, let go and swing. But the other thing is, on both circumstances, you only have one shot. And the reason for that is the cable stop, and like the trapeze cable stop, and it doesn't swing back really. Like, it'll swing back a little bit, but you'll no longer get your momentum. So early on, a lot of people were, trying to get big swings, and they missed the first one, and they just try to build up to swinging to the crayon, and they just no longer get the momentum and they fall. And then the second part is, if you actually get on the crayon and you don't hop off on the first try, I didn't necessarily see what happens, but a lot of people were saying the crayon kind of like stops before the pad, like not a far ways enough, but enough to where if you lose momentum, you can't really hop off the crayon to the pad.
That makes sense.
So it's one of those things, kind of like I forget, it's the Dipper or something like that, where it was kind of like a roller coaster in the finals. Yeah. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like you get one shot on both parts of that obstacle.
Okay, and what did you think of the doorknob drop?
Doorknob drop's crazy. That was the one that scared pretty much all of the, the legit ninjas, the ones that have been doing this and training for a while. Not only are doorknobs in general, like, I'm sure a lot of our listeners know, like, training on doorknobs are incredibly difficult. It's even worse than pegboards, just because the rotation, there's a challenge going on right now online where you just do a dead hang for 100 seconds, but the key is that it rotates, and it's that much harder to hold yourself up. Doorknobs are the similar thing, but rather than, you're holding a stationary bar, it's kind of like free roaming knobs. You just holding your hands up by your fingers, and then it independently spinning. The instant you let go of one of those doorknobs to the next one, your body will swing out unless you have perfect control of your body. So it's one of those things where if you know how to do it, it looks very easy. But trust me when I say it is very difficult. And it involves a lot of muscle and a lot of technique. So not only just getting to that point, right? Because it's after, like, it's kind of like a 1-2 punch of the sky hooks. It's doable, definitely, but it drains a lot out of your grip strength. The sky hooks I would compare a lot to the salmon ladder, and the fact that you're doing like very big jolts of energy and then just an explosion in terms of pressure on your hands, catching yourself. So it's doable, but it really drains a lot out of your forearms and your grip strength. And then you go straight into the doorknobs where your fingers are already hurting. Now you got to cramp them in this awkward position. You have to climb all the way to the top of it, and then guess what? It drops you. And,
Right.
and when we saw it, it dropped. Like, it wasn't like a slow drop. It just drops you. And catching yourself like that, man, that's got to be so hard. I was like, I don't know, Bijan, you needed to train a lot harder for this stuff because during the time, I got 2 weeks of training, guys. Like, I wasn't going in like, oh, I got this. I was like, we'll see. But that one terrified me and a lot of the other guys. I in particular remember Flip Rodriguez asking a whole lot of questions on that part. He was definitely making sure he was going to get all the information he could about that obstacle.
Right.
And yeah, just the switch over and you got to do it again. Like, that's a very taxing obstacle. So anybody that gets to can complete it, props to them. And we saw that was like a big ninja killer for a lot of the, more talented, the ninjas that train like all year round, and it's a difficult one. It's doable. It's not one of those cheap ones where, you have, I don't know, like really long arm span and you get like this crazy advantage or anything. It really, it plays to any type of body type. And that's something that I really like about it. It's just difficult, really, really difficult.
Yeah, I would say all that's true. That it's difficult but fair. But man, oh man, quite a ninja killer from what we saw. It kind of reminded me of the Rolling Thunder.
Yeah. Rolling Thunder.
Isn't that right?
Yeah. I kind of prefer this over. Well, I don't know. Rolling Thunder is dope in my opinion. I know. I'm sure a lot of ninjas hate that obstacle, man. But I like it. But I think visually and everything, this is cool.
Yeah, like just that 5th level, like insane difficulty level. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
So that's my perspective of being there, though. Like watching it, like what stood out to you, man?
It just seemed like a very difficult course. I think they intentionally make LA difficult because, like you said, there's so many all-stars there. They really got to amp it up. I wasn't certain how many finishers we were going to get as it was going on because it was so hard. In the end, it was, I think, a reasonable number. I think it was about a dozen that actually did complete
10.
the course. Was it 10? Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a good number. It was like a really good number,
Yeah. It means it was scaled just about right. But yeah, overall, like the episode, I was distracted through most of the episode, to be honest.
I wonder why.
Yeah. I was like just waiting and waiting. We recorded our reactions to your segment too, right? Like I kept stopping and starting it, trying to catch that moment, and I did get it. And we got to figure out what we're going to do with that. Where are we going to put that up?
Dude, I don't know. Put it on YouTube or, all the social medias. I did my reaction also. So, I mean, I don't know. It's whatever for me, but shocker, guys. I already know what happens, but well, so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to see your reaction, man. So I'm sure a lot of our listeners are too. So you got to post that up somewhere. You got to let us know where to find that.
I'll do that. I'll stick it in the show notes. If you guys want to see it, I'll put it up.
Sounds good. So let's get into this, man.
So first to take the course, and in a very shocking moment, was Janique Lovett. Like, what the heck? I didn't expect her to be the first one running the course.
No, and I was scared because I never saw Janique's run in person, so I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, did she fall early or something? Like, what's going on? I was getting worried because she's one of my favorites, man.
Yeah, exactly. I assumed, did they follow that pattern a lot or something? Because that was my first thought too. I was like, oh no, Janique must fall early. Like,
dude, I bet you that's why they're changing stuff up, which I like. They're listening, They're like, oh, you guys think she's gonna fall like on the second obstacle? We got you, fam. We got you.
Yeah. So we get to see the course. It was a good demonstration of the doorknob drop and how hard it is. She ended up falling on the doorknob when the drop actually shook her loose, but she did really well. And that was when I learned that it didn't drop until you hit the top of it, right? So,
oh yeah, so that was the thing that scared a lot of people. It will not drop, and you have to reach it. It's not something where you can just switch over to the next part, halfway through. You have to get to the top 2 pegs of both of those things before you move on.
But great effort by her, and she did make it to the finals, so it's great. We'll see her in the city finals. Not too shocking, except for the fact that she was the first run. Other than that, we expected her to do that.
Oh, man, I'm so happy for her.
Next to take the course was a big personality, Ruben Arellano.
Yeah, Ruben. He's from, they're saying San Diego. I'm like, but like his stories in collect. I'm like, dude, this is not San Diego. This is far from San Diego. But
he's in Calexico, they said.
Yeah, that's like an hour and a half away from San Diego. That's not, no.
That's close enough. I mean, really.
But seriously, this guy is like really cool. I saw him in, like in the interview area, and this guy was always a ball of energy, like personality wise. This guy, if this guy brings his personality to the show, and we already saw that he's got skills, like this guy can be somebody. This guy, keep an eye out for him. He just exudes a form of confidence I've never seen from somebody, and it's crazy to see.
Yeah, he was fun to watch. Great personality. He made it to the doorknob drop. He did really well. Yeah, someone to watch for sure. I like watching him, and that's the thing. A lot of people get down on the show, that it's not as focused on being a sport as a reality show or whatever. But he's a perfect example of someone that kind of treads that line between the two and, is entertaining. That's the whole point of the show. We want to be entertained, and he does that. Yeah.
In particular for this episode, I was going to be a little critical. I'm like, if they show like 5 minutes of some boring guy, I am going to be angry. Well, I don't necessarily think that really happened.
It didn't at all.
We'll have to go back, but I don't think that happened. But yeah, This guy brought all the personality. I'm happy.
I was watching for it too. It was like, who got up there instead? And you know what? I can't even criticize. Everybody did great.
Yeah.
Next to take the course was Thomas Coffrin, a firefighter who saved his parents' home single-handedly while they evacuated during those fires a while back. That was an intense story. Like, I get it to an extent, but why are you filming it? Like, shouldn't you be like I hated that he was disengaging long enough to just film what's going on around him.
I don't know, man. Do you really think, like, maybe he was filming it? But I have to imagine, like, your family's house is on fire. You are not filming it. I have a feeling that's some post-production, magic going on where he filmed, like, maybe another thing and, just said it. Because there's no way. There's no way, bro. Like, I hear my parents' house is on fire. I am running into that building. And I met this guy. He's, like, the coolest guy. I don't think that happened.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, maybe there was a lull. There must have been if he was doing that, I guess, if it was real. Who knows? But it was
that calm
cool,
and everything?
interesting.
I don't know, man.
The commentary was probably added in after the fact, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot where I'm like, you're not gonna be that calm in recording, like, oh hey, check it out behind me, you know what? No. That said, this guy was. We all do in waves, for the interviews and the pre-production of this show, go on lots and talk to the producers and everything. And in my group was Natalie Duran, myself, and Thomas. And I gotta say, Thomas was one of the chillest, coolest guys I have met, and we talked for quite a while. Like, Natalie Duran is just crazy personality, ball of energy, knowing everybody. She was like all going around just talking to everybody. I was like, Natalie, do you, boo-boo, but this Thomas guy, me and him were chilling, and he's very humble. Like, I didn't know he was a firefighter till about maybe 2 hours of meeting him, because they just wanted him to, like, wear his firefighter gear. And I'm like, oh, you're a firefighter. What's up? Then he's like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a librarian. And he's like, oh, cool. He was probably like, what are you doing here? But that's another story. But yeah, I'm really happy for the guy. And more than anything else, he was a rookie like me, and we're all just kind of like, it's the unknown. It's all a big question mark. And he was the first runner of the night, like rookies, to really shock people. Like, he just starts going and going and going, and everybody's like, who is this guy? And you just see, like, they have a monitor in the back area, and you just see the crowd of ninjas get, like, surround this monitor more and more and more. It was crazy to see. And I'm like, you go, Tom. Oh, man, I was his biggest cheerleader. I was screaming from the back. Yeah, I don't know. This was a fun run, too, because it was just surprising. And he exudes like almost like a quiet form of confidence and swagger.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He skipped the mega wall, which I appreciate that. I appreciate the ones that just look at it and go, yeah, no, I'm just going to do the regular wall. I'm good. Thanks. Yeah. But yeah, first completion of the night. Fantastic job, Thomas. Big fan. Can't wait to see what else he can do.
Yeah. Major congrats, bro. You know, I'm sure he's listening. Very happy for you.
Next to take the course, Kevin Bull. The Bull is back. Looks so strong.
Hang on. What are we talking about here? Kevin Bull. You best move back.
Oh my God, I skipped you, didn't I?
Yeah, I'm like, Kevin Bull. Like,
that's funny. As I was taking notes, I didn't jot yours into the segment.
I see. You know, I get my 10 seconds of fame, and you know, just like, oh no, we gonna skip that.
I'm gonna snatch that away from you. You get your head too big in this. All right. So when we came back from commercial, there was a little segment on someone we're pretty familiar with. Bijan, who was that I saw on there?
I don't know. That was my twin or something. That couldn't have been me.
He seemed a little extra though, didn't he?
A little, dude. Y'all don't know. Okay, so I can finally talk about it. Going into this, I'm seeing these obstacles. I'm like, look, you know, I haven't been training for a minute, but you know, I'm still kind of in shape, guys, right? And I have, you know, trained for at least 2 weeks or so. If I am not bringing the skill to this competition, I damn sure am going to bring the personality to the show because I know what's up. This is a television show and I know what they want. So boy, did I milk that. Dude, I was even in the back, I was screaming to all the ninjas, y'all better make as much noise as possible. Even though it doesn't make a damn lick of difference. They don't have microphones back there. And I go up and I'm just swaggering up and I'm like, it was a good like minute just milking it in the crowd, just like screaming to them. And they're all making the energy and I'm dancing up there and I'm doing all this crazy stuff. And I've got the people on the side being like, go, go, go. Cause they're like, dude, they like the buzzer I hit. I'm like, nope, I am milking this. And finally I go up and, dude, I get to like, I'm hopping on the steps, you know, and there's a particular way they want you to do the steps, which is kind of weird because like it's necessary that you have to jump from the white part of the floating steps, but then you watch back and like only half the people do that. So I don't know what's up with that. But I was like, look, I'm not going to be the guy that gets DQ'd.
Right.
So I'm jumping from the middle part of them, and on the final step, right, like the transition from the penultimate step to the last one, I jump, and I miss the step kinda, and I grab onto the top and slam my knee into it, and I just scream out, nope, I am not falling on the first obstacle. It was not going to happen. I was not going to be horse abs, y'all. It was not going to happen. Oh, I was screaming into the heavens.
I wish I had seen that.
I was pulling myself up. I was screaming. And to this whole time, I'm screaming every step. I'm like, step 1, step 2. Like I was loud. All right. And once again, it's whatever, you know, there are so many finishers. I'm chill me not being shown. Actually, I would probably be mad if they give a big old segment to somebody that falls on the second obstacle, be honest with you. But just saying, this is a lowdown to me. And I get to that second obstacle, and I finally grab up to there, and I look down. I'm like, I am high. Now, this is the key, y'all. The entire time, I gotta admit, I was doing the one thing I always say not to do. I was overlooking this obstacle, kind of. Because I'm like, I don't know. I was trying not to psych myself out, so I spent most of my time in the back not watching runs because I knew I was going to be later in the night. I ran at 3:50 in the morning, guys. It was cold. It was awful. I was waiting there forever. But, yeah, just... I was more scared about the balance one going on, which honestly it took out a lot of the rookies, but it didn't cause much of an issue, to be honest with you. But that's the one I was really worried about. This one, I knew, just swing and grab it. And I did. The problem was, I never in my life thought about, hey, I need to get my knees up. I need to get my legs wrapped around this. And that was my downfall. I swung, I jumped, I felt like I had perfect form, and I grabbed the top, and then next thing I know, I'm in the water, and I was a pure confusion. You know when you see people fall, especially in these transition obstacles, and then they're just looking at their hands in bewilderment and not knowing what happened? That was completely me. I'm like, I'm in the water. Did I just fall? Because I don't remember any of it, man. I just remember grabbing the top and I'm focusing on the next one in my head and I'm in the water. And it's craziness because all this obviously happened in like slow motion in my world, right?
Right.
So I had to watch it back because I honestly didn't know what happened. And clearly what happened was I did not get my legs up to brace the impact of me grabbing it. So I grabbed the top and the crayon, kind of like goes out from underneath my legs because they're just down. And I kind of just like fly backwards, And at the end of the day, no excuses. Not perfect form at all. I didn't do what needed to be done. And, in certain cases, I've seen people with crazy grip strength hold on, even in that crazy scenario where you're totally doing everything wrong. So it was just a combination of errors, man. And it sucks, but it's one of those things where at the very least, I got rookie jitters out. Obviously there was a lot going in mentally to this. And I think I did well in terms of that. But hey, I got past the first obstacle. I got through half of the second obstacle. And I just hope I made all you armchair ninjas proud, to be honest. I'm there. I did it. And hopefully if they ever have me back, I'm going to make it a point to definitely train for more of the aerial parts of the training because I was doing a lot of upper body and arm grip strength. Like I really had hand grip and forearm grip strength because I was doing crazy amounts of rock climbing. But at the end of the day, you need to train for all forms of American Ninja Warrior. And that's what I love about this sport. It's not easy. It's very difficult. And it implements various forms of different, sports. And I love that. So there you go. No excuses. I fell, but I'm so happy for the experience. What are your thoughts, bro?
I'm really proud of you for even making the attempt. It's such a crazy experience because, I got to the inside scoop as you went through the whole process, and it doesn't sound that intimidating before it all kicked off. But as we went through it, as you described all the different things, and as the date approaches, I was so nervous for you. Like, I was shaking the day that you went there, and I wasn't the one that had to run the course. So the fact that you were able to pull it together and make that attempt, hats off to you. The fact that you got through the first obstacle, which was your biggest worry, that was cool.
You should have heard it the entire day before during there's like the day before filming of this, you go to Universal Studios or wherever they're filming at, right? And you meet with all the producers and you do all these interviews in the sound stages and you do all this extra stuff, right? And the entire time I am like, bringing the energy, but I'm also like, guys, my main thing is I am not going to be horse abs because I have talked so much crap about this where they're going, like the one thing I didn't want is them to give me like a 7-minute vignette building me up and I fall in the first obstacle. Like that was not going to happen.
For anyone, we've used the term a couple times now. For those that weren't around when that first came up, there was a segment of a competitor we call horse abs now because he was into horses and it seemed to be all about his abs and he fell very early on and that was Bijan's big worry.
They like played porn music, like it was like bow 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 chicka bow and it's like just glistening abs and it's like right. Just stayed on it and you're like, what am I watching? And it was brutal. But yeah, it's one of those things where I gotta give a shout out in particular to David, Lindsay, and Rod. I'm not gonna give their last names because I don't know if they, want that, but they're part of the production team of American Ninja Warrior, and they were so instrumental in not only getting me on the show, but helping me out preparing for the show and just answering all questions. And they were always there for me. In particular, David, he was so awesome, and I really, really am thankful for everything they did. And not only that, like all the ninjas I met there, I was chilling on the back, not watching for a large portion of it because it was very clear the more you watch, the more anxiety you get built up if you're not running for a while. So I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to mentally psych myself out. In particular, Josh Levin, Sean Bryan, and David Campbell were so awesome. I spent a lot of time talking to them and just hanging out, and we were all just like in a circle, just talking tales. And it was just truly an honor to be in the space with them and hanging out with them. And they were just the most humble, chill guys. Like Josh and Sean, they don't introduce themselves like, hey, I'm Josh Levin or blah, blah, blah. It's like, he's just sitting there, and like there's some rookies, and like some of these rookies, man, they're like, oh, who are you? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's Josh Levin. What are you at? What? and like they like I was getting angry some points. Didn't know David Campbell. I'm like, dude, it's David Campbell. Are you kidding me? But like they were so chill. Like, hey, I'm Josh. I do some rock climbing and stuff. Like, I'm like, you're Josh Levin, bro. You don't just do some rock climbing. And David Campbell's all like, I deliver some pizzas. I'm like, no, you're. What? I'm like fanboying out here, but trying to keep it in together.
Right.
But just the most humble, chill guys, and a bunch of other people. I'll tell you later, or like later on in the season, guys. But just they were really the key to me being calm. They really treated everybody like, equals. It was never like, oh, I'm a star or anything like that. They're just the most humble, chill guys, just talking and being just the nicest people in the world. Josh is a huge fan of our podcast, listens every week. So special shout out to you, Josh Levin. And hopefully we get them on the show one day. We'll reach out to them, and hopefully, if you listeners want to have them, we'll definitely have them on the program.
Next to take the course was
wait, bro. What were your thoughts about my run? Let's hear it. Let's get a condensed version of this reaction video that we're talking about.
The condensed version is, oh my God, there he is. This is the segment. And my daughter I let her stay up to watch it. Even though she doesn't really watch the show, she wanted to see you on the course. And I made a prediction last week. So after we finished recording, Bijan asked where I thought he made it on there. And I said on the transition on the doorknobs between the two panels.
In my head, I was laughing. I was like, oh, bro.
Now,
you have far more confidence in me than I do.
No, I was going based on the celebrity version, which is probably where you would have been good to go.
That was not the course. Oh.
Yeah. I knew it was to be scaled up. Maybe not to this degree, though. So, yeah, definitely a different course. But yeah, I was excited to see you, excited to see where you went. I thought you had that obstacle. I swear. The picture... And this is probably you overlooking the obstacle, as you said. I could see the confidence in your eyes in that the official photo there of you on those nunchucks getting ready to transition. I'm like, oh, he's got that. There's no way he doesn't have that. And I thought he knows to go as fast as possible across the next obstacle. Oh yeah, he's good to like obstacle 4 at least. and I saw you go down. I was like, no. So you get a very real reaction. The reaction video is 100%. I did not know. And the look of the look of shock on my face is real. I didn't realize he was going to go down there.
Nice. I look forward to it.
But yeah, still incredibly proud. I've had people ask me too, since I've been telling everybody to watch, and of course I'm getting messaged and everything, and asked, ask if you were disappointed with your results, and I was like, heck no, there's no way. I didn't even have to ask you that. I'm like, there's no way. Like he lived his dream. He got to run the course. That is everything.
Yeah. Oh, I did a full-on interview with Christine Leahy, by the way, because, not a lot of ninjas got to that point of, interview. Weirdly, even some of the finishers, which is, I don't know, not the finishers going up the warped wall, sorry, but like people that made it to the back end of the course, like they a lot of them weren't even interviewed with Christine. Like I was like, oh man, they're running out of time or something, but they interviewed me, which once again, shout out to David and Lindsay and Rod, because I think they definitely were my biggest cheerleaders. And I brought the energy to that too. Oh boy, if you guys saw that interview. I'm like, I'm an American Ninja Warrior, and I'm like shouting to the crowd, you can be American Ninja Warrior, you did, and all this stuff. And like, I remember Christine was shocked because she just, even before she asked me a question, I'm already like losing my mind talking and everything, and just exciting and telling her how I encountered my dream, and she was just like shocked, and she's like, I don't even have to get a question out. And I'm like, I got you, fam. It's like, yeah, I was like, yeah. But I don't know.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's my only disappointment is that we don't get to see a full segment for you, even if it was for our own benefit, right? Just if we were able to see that would be fantastic,
Yeah.
But
start the campaign now. Make it next year, Now that I got a little taste, just a little bit of a taste, I can finally start training. This was probably my last year doing a Spartan trifecta because that Spartan Beast killed me.
Right.
It was the worst thing ever. So I'm probably going to start implementing more rock climbing in my regiment workouts. And obviously now I need to start working on some aerial gymnastics because boy, was that rough on that on that one. So I'm I'm going to start working on some more things that, lead into American Ninja Warrior more. So hopefully this won't be the last you guys ever see of me on the show. And I'm very much suggesting to my girlfriend, who works out a lot, to join me, power couple. There we go.
Awesome. So going back to the show, let's get back to it here. We've got Kevin Bull took the course. He did whatever he did. No, he fell on the second board before reaching the top. He was actually looking really strong until those doorknobs, and it really, you could see the struggle almost immediately. Like, he did not get far into it before you saw this was not going well for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's Kevin Bull, man. Not to mention, Kevin Bull, like, his skills and talents actually lead in very well to the back portion of this course. He tends to do very well with power strength obstacles. So it was pretty surprising him falling where he did. But, I mean, at the end of the day, what matters most is he made it to the finals. And I have a feeling he's one of those type of people where he's going to learn from his mistakes. I have to imagine he's getting through the full course in the finals.
Yeah, I would bet money on that pretty easily. We had a couple fast forwards after him with some favorites of ours. Gabe Hurtado and Anthony Trucks both fell on the doorknob drop before leading into Sean Bryan, the Papal Ninja.
Sean Bryan, yes. Oh, exciting.
He was so comfortable on the course. Like, you would not think it's the same course when this happens. I don't even understand how some ninjas do that, where it's just like, no issues, just breezing his way through. He wasn't able to make the mega wall, which I actually thought he had that for sure. But other than that, great run, great finish.
Hey, we all have to be human sometime, right? This guy's
Almost
always doing like the craziest things, He was one, like, when it came to Sean Bryan and Josh Levin in particular, they were the two where I'm like, they have this course in spades. Like, they are going to do well. Because when you talk about upper body strength and grip strength, which really the back portion of this course really requires, like, these guys have it in spades. And Sean Bryan, he definitely showed his talent and skill on this course when it came to that. Very happy for him. And man, that mega wall, it's the biggest question mark, because this is the thing, guys. Last episode that you guys saw in, what was it, Denver or something like that, man? Dallas, yeah. That was recorded, I don't know when, but it was far after these tapings. The first glimpse anybody ever saw of the mega wall was in the Los Angeles Qualifiers. So when you see all these athletes actually trying on it, this is legit their first time ever trying it, or probably trying to prepare for it, because nobody knew about this. That's the difference. Whereas the other cities, there may have been time for people to train for it a little bit. I mean, I'm not really going to give them like, they had the benefit to train. Like, really, they probably only had a little bit, if they even had the means to. But still, this is like legit first time ever trying for it. So I'm not going to, it's whatever for anybody getting up there. In particular, I don't know. We'll talk about it in the Nick Hanson run, man. But, like, what's canon now? It's a big question mark for everybody, right? But, yeah, I don't know. I'm just blabbering at this point. Go on.
All right. We'll move on. It is worth pointing out that even those that did have the time to prepare a little more for the mega wall, you can't even fit an 18-foot wall in most gyms, right? It's just too high.
That's true. A lot of regular work walls goes to the very top, right? So yeah, that's a good point.
Sometimes they can't even stand on top of the wall, so I don't see them getting too many 18-foot walls out there. Moving on, we had Sweet Tea. Tiana Weberly took the course. Yeah. She has never hit a buzzer on A&W proper, which I don't know why that surprised me. I'm supposed to know this stuff, but it still surprised me.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It's like, what? Because she's really strong. She's one of the ninjas. When you think about female ninjas, you think about Sweet Tea, definitely. I trained for her a little bit, with her a little bit at MLab, and she's very, very strong, in person and training, and she's very knowledgeable when it comes to the technique involved in the obstacles. She's definitely one of those people that really think about it. So I was very curious to see how well she does. And I mean, she really showed what she's got in this. She actually, in my opinion, looked very like stronger than she's ever looked in this course.
Yeah, she did. And that was the funny thing is that when she first took the course, I thought, I don't know, the fifth obstacle is really tough again. It's going to be a hard time. But then she looked so strong, I thought, and especially in a weird way, when she started shaking out her hands, I thought, oh, she's still got the strength to do that. She's good to go. But unfortunately not. The jolt of the second drop knocked her off. But man, oh man, it was a good run.
Yeah, that jolt is crazy hard, man. That was the thing. Like, everybody is like, even if you have the strength to get up to the top, that jolt was legit. It's so painful to watch because it's like you get through all of it. You get through this incredible journey, right? And all of a sudden it drops you and you're like, ah! It's like, I don't know. It sucks, man.
Yeah, it does. Like, that's your reward. You managed to make it all the way to the top. Now deal with this.
Yeah.
Grant McCartney took the course next, and he was looking cool, calm, and collected in his redemption year, playing to the crowd as he always does. And I don't know, he really started to struggle a bit on the doorknobs. He's a big guy, right? He's a very big guy. Doesn't move like a big guy, but he is. I thought he was going to actually miss the dismount altogether, and instead it's just his foot hit. Which sucks. And you know what? Honestly, we've been watching so much Ninja versus Ninja, I forgot that disqualified him.
Or did you shout out 5-second penalty? Or
oh, his foot's wet. That's going to make the wall harder.
Yeah, no. It sucks, man. You know, we always talk. The hardest runs to watch are where a ninja just, like lightly taps the water. That's always the worst to see. For me, I'm just incredibly happy it happened at the very last obstacle rather than like earlier in the course. Because if his season is done due to that would have been rough, man. That would have been just brutal. But, he got far enough. So I'm happy, and we get to see more of his personality. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Do you think he's got it in the finals?
Oh, man. See, this is the bit. I don't know what. I purposely didn't go to the finals in LA, so therefore I can watch it, and react just like you can, It's the big question mark because Los Angeles in particular, they make their course very difficult. And I just don't know what's in store for the later half of that course. Oh,
sorry. I don't mean the whole course. I meant the just. Do you think he's going to make it to the wall next time? Do you think he's got the doorknobs? Oh
yeah, I do. He has to. So that's he does pretty well with upper body. Obviously, he's a bigger guy, but I think he's good. But that later half of the course, when he goes through all of this and then gets to the later half of the course, that's that big question mark. Plus, he doesn't have the best track record when it comes to the salmon ladder, and I have to imagine the salmon ladder is a part of that course.
Yeah, that's pretty much a given, yeah. Next, we had a fast forward of Nicholas Coolidge, who completed the course with the fastest time.
No! Why? Why is it always Nicholas Coolidge?
Whatever that guy.
I can't complain. There are so many strong vignettes and everything, but man,
can you please?
One day,
just
he's going to get his
finals,
time to shine.
Please, in the finals. He did get a little bit of shine. If you like Nicholas Coolidge and you want him to get more attention, listen to his episode. I'm going to refer you over to another podcast here, the official ANW podcast. Their first episode's with him, and it's great. Absolutely great.
Yeah.
Cody Johnson took the course from Alaska, the no smoking ninja. Did a really good job. Ended up falling on the doorknob drop. But unfortunately, we have to move along a little faster here. So great job, Cody. Interesting story. Sorry about your mom and grandma.
Yeah.
The next was Selena Laniel, San Diego firefighter, and definitely one of our favorites from
Selena. She's
multiple
awesome,
years.
Man. Yeah. It's weird. Out of all the ninja circles I've done in around San Diego and everything, I've yet to meet her, which is crazy.
I was thinking that. I'm like, why didn't you mention when they mentioned that she was from San Diego? I thought, geez, Bijan didn't mention her being at the ninja comps, but
yeah, I've never met her. I mean, if she's a firefighter, obviously she's a little busy. Plus, she's got 2 teenagers, But I hope to meet her one day, and yeah, It's pretty awesome. I'm repping the library for the city, and she's repping firefighters for the city. It's pretty dope. That said, I mean, I don't know. I've never met her, but I would love to train with her one day. Obviously, if you guys don't know, the gym that she was training at was MROC, the gym that I've trained at many times. So obviously she trains around, just we haven't synced up in terms of meeting. But very great gym, and clearly she knows what she's doing. She's a 4-year veteran, and I'm very happy she got further in the course. She's one of those veterans that are getting stronger and stronger every year. She's representing a field that is very, underrepresented on the show. A woman in her 40s and just so strong and talented. I'm really happy for her. And I'm sure a lot of people can connect with her.
Yeah, she did great as always. She got a close call on the skyhooks, about as close as you can get. The way that thing bounced along the edge, I thought she might be losing strength, but she was good to go from there. She made it to the top of the first panel of doorknob drop. It was a great run. Selena's just wonderful to watch. We had a couple of fast forwards after her. We had Josh Levin, who beat the course, but not the mega wall.
That shocked me that he skipped. Josh Levin's run was actually really, really good. He was very strong throughout the course and everything. Yeah, didn't get the mega wall, but that's asking a lot. The guy's, I don't know how tall he is, but he's not that tall, so...
Right.
He's got to make up a few for that mega wall, but he's very, very strong, and I think we're going to see a lot of him this season. I'm feeling good about Josh.
We also had Anna Shoemaker fast forwarded, who almost made it to the end of the doorknob drop, but not quite. But she did move on to the finals. She's fantastic, and I'm glad to see her back. And then we had what I would call the shocking fall of the episode for sure.
Yeah.
Second most shocking fall, maybe. Natalie Duran. On the jumper cables, just didn't quite get it. She had an early jump to the bag, they said, which meant she wasn't high up enough, and she went out, and she looked pretty surprised herself.
Yeah, that was brutal, man. It sucks, because she's one of the ninjas that everybody gets excited for. She has so much personality. She has so much to show to the show, in the sport. And as I said, it was a group of 3 of us, so right. It's like, of the 3, the firefighter made it, the other 2 knocked out on the same obstacle. And it's joking. It was funny because not even funny, but we were watching and my girlfriend it happens and she just says to me, well, you went as far as Natalie Duran, so that's something. And I'm like, oh, babe, that doesn't mean what you think it is. It's like, it's just more of a knock on her, so...
But I think maybe she was overlooking it in the same way you were, right? She was kind of looking past it to the other obstacles and not really giving it its proper respect.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I just felt so bad for her, because she is one of those ninjas that are training all year round and are really embracing the sport. And for the season to end so early for her, it sucks. But the thing that I always say is how people react when they're knocked down really matters and really shows who they are as a person. And the fact that she got out of the water and says, I'm not going to let this get to me. I'm not going to let this, knock me down. I'm going to keep my head high and I'm going to learn from this. That really meant a lot. And that's something that I'm sure a lot of her fans really took in. And I'm really, happy and proud of her for doing that at that moment, because I can't even imagine the level of disappointment or just sadness she had, or whatever the term, but she kept her head up high, and that's really cool.
We've had, so many ninjas at this point go out early. It's really a testament to them to come back year after year and try again. And it's one of my favorite things about the sport in a weird way, right? It's those moments where they show everybody, especially young kids, that don't let disappointment stop you from going after your dreams. It's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like low to high here because Nick Hanson took the course, and my favorite run of the night, second favorite run of the night. Nick was fantastic. And he always looks as surprised as I am. I swear, he seems like the nicest guy and just the most humble, and is just surprised that he's on the course, let alone standing at the top of the warped wall every time.
Yeah. So, funny story. First of all, in terms of, run scheduling and everything, I was sandwiched in between, of all people, Nick Hanson and Josh Levin. I was like, oh boy. Everybody gets excited about, Nick Hanson, and then, there's me, and then there's Josh Love. It's just like, oh boy. But that said, I'm preparing for my run, and I'm watching this run off on the side. And obviously my mind's kind of on other things, but I'm watching it run, him go further and further and further and persevering more, and the crowd just electric. And then he gets to that mega wall on the bottom. And at this point, we've seen countless competitors try and fail the mega wall. And at this point also, we have ninjas from all around the country. Drew Joshua was there, a bunch of Megan Martin, a bunch of ninjas from all around the country watching. This is the first time anybody's ever trying the mega wall, not the first time trying the mega wall, but you know what I mean? Like, nobody's done it yet. And then he runs, and he actually gets up the mega wall. And I cannot tell you the explosion that happened in excitement from all of the ninjas. Not only did he do it and show that it could be done, but just the genuine happiness for him and everything. So that was really cool to see. Obviously, everybody in the crowd and everything getting all this excitement, and then here I go to run. But
no pressure. No pressure whatsoever.
But I was seriously so happy for him. And watching back, it's even far more impressive, honestly. Nick Hanson, amazing stuff. Sorry, I can't even go into details because it was all blur to me still. But definitely, Nick Hanson, you win the Athletically Profound Run of the Night. Not even question. And in many ways, Nick Hanson is the very first ninja to ever make it up the mega wall. Don't know if it's canon, that's a whole thing people can whatever about, but in actuality, he was, and good for him. He definitely broke down barriers for a lot of ninjas out there.
Would you say he's your idol?
Oh, we got to bring this up. Okay, so so I love my mom. I love her to death, but she can be a little... if anybody ever wants to know where I get my extraness from, it's definitely my mom. If you ever see the reaction, she's there in front because she's like, everybody get out of my way. My baby's running and I'm about to be right in front of this camera reacting, So everybody's waiting in line, and obviously my family, it's my girlfriend, my brother, my mom, sandwich, Nick Hanson's family's in front of them, and Josh Levin's family's behind them. And my mom's just chatting up with everybody because it's my mom, and she's just very personable. So she recognizes Nick Hanson's name because at this point she was watching a little bit of American Ninja Warrior, and she heard us talk about him on the podcast. What did she say to Nick Hanson's mom? Oh, she goes, "Oh, Nick Hanson, he's my son's idol. He's my, my son. He's Nick Hanson's his favorite American Ninja Warrior, and he idolizes him and all this stuff." And I hear that, and I just want to, go into a cave and just, die. I'm like, who? What? Nick Hanson? What? Nick Hanson, I love you, bro, but, where did that come from?
That was probably my favorite story you told out of all of the things
I don't know where that came from, so... I'm sorry, Nick Hanson. I'm sure you were you probably got word out that Bijan from Armchair Ninja Podcast idolizes you for some random reason. Sorry, bro, that's not true. I don't know where that came from. I'm a fan of yours, but it begins and ends there, Right. If you want to say David Campbell, the OG, I idolize him or something, I'm like, that's cool, He's my favorite American Ninja Warrior. He is, honestly. But Nick Hanson. What? So that was just random as all heck.
It was my plan to bring it up anyway. It just was way too tempting as you gave him the Athletically Profound Run of the Night. Just way too easy.
Cringe when I just heard that. I'm like, Mom, what? We all had a good laugh about it, but man.
Right. Next to take the course was Flip Rodriguez.
Wait, what
Flippy
were your
is
reactions,
back.
man? He got up the mega wall.
I know. I was really excited for him.
I feel like I'm taking over this podcast. We got to get more of Rich here.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. So I thought I gave a reaction, didn't I? I was really excited for him. I thought he's so genuine and so cool, and I really didn't think he had it. To be honest, I was like, they made a good point of it. The fact that he doesn't have this fancy equipment, he doesn't have an 18-foot. He has a 16-foot, which is cool anyway. But The fact that he was able to do it is amazing, and it puts him at a whole other level in my mind. Like he's already been climbing that ladder, but now I really think we need to keep him in consideration for, those very top elite ninjas.
Yeah, we got to see him in Vegas, because the question mark for him was always his cardio, going from previous years. But we're seeing both him in Ninja vs. Ninja and on ANW10. It seems like he's really cleared up that hole in his game, and he's very much looking stronger and can go further. So I'm very, very curious to see how well he does in Vegas, because that's always the big one, stage 1, right? We just got to wait and see. But yeah, it looks like he definitely cleared that up.
All right, so now we can move on to Flippy taking the course here.
Oh, why? That's still a thing.
Yeah, they had to bring it up again.
Hey, it's better than Kevin Soderman's one. What is that? Soda pop. That's brutal, bro. Maybe it's a good thing Soderman's taking a year off, being like, all right, let's all forget that. We'll get a new one. Let's not make that a thing.
Let's roll the dice and get something else here. But no, Flip, I thought, was a shoo-in for the mega wall. We've seen him do an 18-foot wall.
Everybody did.
In the skills challenge, right?
Man, this has got to be the hardest one. This was the most shocking run of the night for me. What do you think?
Yeah, it was pretty shocking. I guess I stopped over it. Once I saw Kevin Bull fall on there and Tiana Weberly and some other of the top ninjas, I really couldn't look past the doorknobs at that point. So I was disappointed for him, but not as shocked as I normally would be.
Gotcha. I think for all the ninjas in the back, as soon as he got on the course, everybody surrounded, literally the entire crowd of ninjas surrounded that monitor, because at this point, Nick Hanson hadn't gone yet, and nobody's gone up the mega wall. And the big story of the night was, if there's one person that's going to get up that mega wall, it's going to be Flip Rodriguez. So everybody was glued to seeing him try the mega wall. And I don't know, he was so close, but he didn't get to the point to try it. So that was the big surprise to a lot of people, because we all just thought that, he was going to make it there and we were going to see him try for it. And we really thought we were going to see history being made with Flip Rodriguez. Yeah.
Yeah, and if he had gotten past the doorknobs, I think that's pretty safe to say that would have happened.
So did you see what happened? There's a reason he fell right there. He was doing very confident, and he was doing the crisscross. And on the very last one where they drop you, grab the top, but he was crossed his arms, so it wasn't left arm to the left side, right arm to the right side. He was crossing where you can't brace. He just wasn't able to brace the impact the way that you're supposed to. And it was just like one of those, once again, those little mental errors where I'm sure he wasn't planning for it to drop right there, or maybe he was, I don't know, but he may be overconfident or whatever, but that's what did him in.
That makes sense. Yeah, he looked pretty surprised when it peeled off. I do remember that.
Yeah, he was looking strong there, though. I mean,
he was
question,
good.
He's going to get through this next in the finals, without question, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. He'll be fine. Unfortunately, we won't have a chance at the mega wall in the finals. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And then elite top ninja from nowhere, Bryan Rambo, takes the course.
Where did this come from?
What is this guy? Who is this guy?
I don't know. I didn't see him at the tapings because I was there later. And, dude, this run surprised me.
What's in tilapia? Is that is that a superfood? What is this guy growing in his backyard?
I need it. I need to go to his garden, just eat everything, and then run for my life. Be like, who's that random dude in the backyard? I'm like, don't worry about it. I need to get on this guy's level.
We've had some strong rookies over the years, right? We've had some people come out and do really well. I don't know we've ever had someone absolutely destroy a tough course like this and just be just the amount of time he had to just stand around at that wall and still have the fastest time was just unreal.
It's the confidence. He knew how to do every obstacle. He did it with flair and confidence, right? And the key is that in this vignette, and this could be, just wool over the eyes or whatever. But for me, I didn't see him really training at many ninja gyms, and I don't remember hearing his name at any of these local competitions. Now, I could be completely wrong, or who knows? But,
I'm sure I remember it.
It's pretty easy to remember name. But it seems like this guy just, grows vegetables in his backyard, eats them, and trains in his house, some rock climbing walls and stuff like that, some transition obstacles. But the way he did these obstacles, like, he looked like he was a 5-year veteran, and he looked great, man. I'm very happy for this guy. These are the runs I want to see in terms from rookies and everything, where it's not like, oh, I'm a rookie, but really I've been training for 5 years or something. Like, this guy may be training, but it doesn't look like he's training in the level of, like, a lot of these ninjas that train all year round. This guy's just a guy, like the stories we saw from back in, like, season 3 of American Ninja Warrior, right? Hey, I do some training at home. I do my things. I'm going to give it my best shot. And then just kills the course. This is the guy. I love it. Rambo, go all the way.
And after Rambo, we had 2 veterans. So we went from the rookie to 2 veterans who got fast-forwarded. Bryan Kresch and David Campbell. Both able to complete the course. Bryan struggled on the warped wall. Like, never would have guessed that. But he did get up on his 3rd attempt and finish the course.
Bryan Kresch, at the tapings, probably had the most engaging run there was. Because he was struggling throughout the entire course, really. But he never looked like in danger, but he was just struggling, And that final portion in the warped wall, every time he'd fall, it would just become more and more people cheering for him because he's capable of it. So could he do it? And yeah, it's one of those runs where I feel like if you were to see it on TV, you'd see what I mean in terms of like it was very entertaining. But I understand why they didn't show it because it was a long run also. David Campbell, I mean, what can you say? He's my favorite American Ninja Warrior. He's awesome. And I just hope he makes it to Vegas. I really want to see him in Vegas, man.
He's got to get stage 1 done. We've got to see that happen.
That's it, yeah.
And then the final run of the night, Adam Rayl took the course. I love the little testimonials. I feel like for those that don't follow Ninja versus Ninja and all the local competitions, you need to keep an eye on Adam Rayl, and they're making sure that you know that. It kind of reminds me of, and I know they haven't filmed in Vegas yet, so nobody knows what happens, but it reminds me when Jeff Britton, they were giving all these shout outs to him and having Joe and other ones saying like, Jeff is the guy to watch. Jeff is like amazing in the season that he won. So they're not giving us spoilers, but they're preparing us for Adam Rayl doing very well.
There's a reason, because Adam Rayl is my top pick to win American Ninja Warrior. I think he is going to be the next winner. If not Drew Dreschel or Joe Morosky, of course. But I really think Adam Rayl has everything to be the next American Ninja Warrior, and he's my top pick.
Honestly, my top pick at this point, I'm kind of going against the crowd a little bit. I got to say Josh Levin's probably my top pick.
Oh, well, Josh Levin's like, in my rankings also. Josh Levin, yeah. It's weird. I always look at who is capable of finishing the 3rd stage. That's the key, right? Josh Levin, if there's anybody, it's going to be Josh Levin that can do it, right? That said, I do think Adam Rayl is very strong, and I think the thing that stands out to me is his stamina. The guy is strong, but he always looks fresh, even on some of these upper body obstacles. And stage 3 is going to be the big question mark. And I just want to see both him and Josh Levin on it and see what they have. But yeah, I think those definitely 2 are the ones to definitely look out for. You got a point there, man.
Actually, speaking to the stamina part for Adam Rayl, I think it's worth noting, you're 100% right. At the Wolfpack Ninja Tour, when they did the races and they kept going over and over and over again, and everybody was getting winded and tired, his last run was his fastest one. Like, that guy has stamina for days.
Yeah, very true. So I'm going to give you guys a little tidbit, a little sneak or a little scoop, as it will be. At the end of this run, Adam Rayl gets up the mega wall. Guess what, Rich?
What?
That was his 2nd time getting up the mega wall. That's right. Adam Rayl, the first person to go up the mega wall twice. He does his run. He gets up the mega wall, and it turns out, I don't know what happened, but they must have not have been able to get like the right angle or film it, or something happened. I don't know, fireworks happened or something. He had to go back down and refilm it. The one you guys saw on television was him doing the mega wall for the 2nd time in a row. You know what I mean? But he just goes back down because I think it was a thing where he was cool with doing it, because he was still fresh enough. That's why he's amping himself up again. And he goes up it. And not only did he have energy, but he does a front flip roll at the top of it. And I think he did that because he was so confident he did it already. So he knows it. And dude, just once again, speaking to his stamina and cardio, but also this guy has the personality for days to be the next American Ninja Warrior, which actually plays a lot into it, And yeah, that was crazy enough, but there's a reason they're putting him at the very end. This guy is somebody to definitely watch out for. And I had the pleasure of talking to him, in the interview part 2 and hang out with him for a little bit. Nice guy. Crazy that he's only 24. Oh my gosh. But actually his mom is the sweetest lady you'll ever meet in your life. I was talking to her for a bit, and it sounds, from what I remember, they're definitely fans of the podcast also. It sounds like when they're traveling to different competitions, they listen to us quite a bit. So shout out to you, Adam, Rael, and your mom. Both of you guys are awesome. And yeah, I have a feeling we're seeing the makings of a finisher here.
That's awesome. Yeah. Adam, hit us up. You and Josh both. Open invitation, guys. Reach out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was the episode. That was so crazy. It was the weirdest episode I've ever watched just because my mind was all over the place about your run. So I was distracted through a lot of it. It's just surreal. The whole thing is surreal.
Yeah. Honestly, dream come true. It was such an honor to be part of this, to be part of the filming, to meet and hang out with some of these ninjas, and to very much be comrades with them. Just the genuine level of camaraderie going on between all of the ninjas was amazing, and you can feel it, just watching it or being part of the crowd, but being there in the back, it took me a while to actually be like, all right, I deserve to be here. I can be here with them, but I got through that, and I'm just so honored to have been part of American Ninja Warrior Season 10. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, man.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have more stories as the season goes on, and we'll have more questions for you and lots more to talk about around the whole experience. But yeah, it was great living vicariously through you and hearing about everything. And a quick shout out to ANW Akbarism. If you like Akbar's sayings on the show, make sure you follow her Twitter account and Instagram accounts, because she's been a great supporter of us, and Bijan in person was there cheering him on. And I really appreciate the support.
Yeah, she was awesome. It was a pleasure meeting her and everything. And yeah, she had a sign out and cheering me on. And it was always a treat meeting her. Special shout out to Cameron Aaron also. She was rooting me on, and a few others. And it's you all know who you are, and I very much appreciate all the love and support that I got.
All right, so let's move on to Ninja versus Ninja. I wish we had more time to cover these things because it's just a fantastic episode. We had the Tryhards, the Lizard Kings, Party Time, and Hashtag Ninjas in one episode.
Some strong teams, bro. Very strong teams.
I like jam-packed with my favorite ninjas. I was so excited to see how this would go down.
That said, man, I still felt like it was going to be Tryhards. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, I guess. I think we both had them as our top pick, didn't we?
Yeah, they were definitely my top pick. And yours, yeah.
Yeah, I had Party Time in my trio, though, as well. I mean, I would have been fine picking any of these four teams to win the whole thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those episodes where you can literally see anybody winning. I felt like Tryhards had the 1-2 punch with Sean Bryan and Adam Rael, very powerful and strong team. That said, I mean, once again, the pairing of Brian Arnold and Jake Murray cannot be understated. They are so incredibly strong together, and that really made a difference, I feel like. You got the power guy and the speed guy, like they definitely play the parts.
And Barclay is amazing. Like, do not sleep on Barclay at all.
Man, like that's the thing. Barclay is the key. Because at the very least you want to get it to the relay. And Barclay is going to beat pretty much like any of the women on the field. And she's I think the key is for her, she can do that zigzag spider climb probably better than a lot of the other women out there, even with the crazy slipperiness of it.
Well, here's the thing, too. Like, those parallel pipes, I thought were going to be really, really difficult for her based on her size. I thought that's going to be really tricky to maneuver with shorter arms, right? Like trying to wrap around and get swung through. Mm-hmm. She did amazing. She did absolutely amazing. Like, I just can't believe the skill that she brings to the course. She has quickly become one of my favorite ninjas.
Yeah, she never lets her size be a detriment to her.
So the first matchup we had was the Hashtag Ninjas versus Party Time. That's Nicholas Coolidge, Larissa Cottle, and Jessie LaFleur versus Bryan Arnold, Barclay Stockett, and Jake Murray. Who did you have in this one? Since you were looking at the tryhards, I guess, but in this matchup, did you think Party Time or Hashtag?
Oh, yeah, Party Time. I think Party Time's one of the top, teams in the entire sport, definitely. Yeah, I didn't think it would be as easy as it was, but I definitely thought they had the leg up.
I was so excited. The very first run, two of my absolute favorite ninjas, Nicholas Coolidge versus Jake Murray. We're not going to go through every run, but I got to say, like, that matchup, I was super excited for and so disappointed when Nick fell early. It's like, no, I want to see the full run. I wanted to see them do the whole course.
Yeah, it was shocking too, because Nicholas Coolidge is actually very comfortable in the air, and in terms of like body control, Nicholas Coolidge is one of the top ninjas in terms of that skill. So it was pretty interesting, or just shocking, seeing him lose control of his body and fall where he did.
Yeah, I think they said, they showed that he didn't use the step, right, to get a more of a swing on the ring, and that just tripped him up. It just was not a good shortcut to take, basically. Mm-hmm. So it ended up being a clean sweep for Party Time. Everybody just crushed it. Great job, guys. Yeah, not much to say about that one.
If anything, Barclay's stock in particular just looking incredibly strong.
She was running through that court, like just full on run. There was no slowing down.
Yeah.
The next matchup we had was the Tryhards versus the Lizard Kings. That's Sean Bryan, Rebekah, Bonilla, and Adam Rayl versus Hunter Guerard, Sarah Schoback, and Kyle Soderman.
See, this is what I was excited about, because we have very young, very hungry ninjas. Some experience, but not like the most experience, but incredibly fast and willing to take shortcuts. So I was very curious to see what was going to happen.
Yeah, and we had some shocking turns in this one. I mean, it could really go either way. Hunter got an early lead on Sean, and I thought, wow, like, this guy is amazing. And he certainly is, but he ended up falling on the tiles, and Sean just got ahead and ended up winning the whole thing. But he was primed to take down the Papal Ninja.
Yeah, Hunter Guerard's very fast. Like, it still shocks me, man. I know he's fast, but like when you see him matched up against people like Sean Bryan and he's going that fast, it just stuns you. Incredible. In many ways, him losing just raises him up.
Isn't that crazy? Like when you look back at these runs, if you look at each individual one, if Hunter hadn't slipped there, it was it. He would have won that one. Yeah. In the next one, Sarah was the first one to actually get up to the wall. But Rebekah was over the top faster and hit the buzzer. That was crazy.
Yeah. Dude, for me, Rebekah, like, I love the fact that Rebekah, she gutted it out. She was so tired. She already had one attempt on the warp wall. And yet she was able to just, like, hoist her body up quicker. Rebekah she got up the wall on her first attempt, but she didn't get much time for a breather, I think that was the key. Going up that wall, even when she grabbed the top, she was probably more spent, and so it was far more of a struggle for her to pull herself up and hit that buzzer. And I think that was the key.
And then, friend of the podcast, Kyle Soderman takes the course and schools it. Oh my God, he is insanely fast.
It sucks that he's not on American Ninja Warrior, but man, this guy is a star. This guy took advantage of every second of screen time he had on Ninja vs. Ninja and just floored the competition. Like, man.
Yeah, it was less than 31 seconds, the fastest of the season, they said. Like, and no doubt about it. I don't know how you could possibly get through anything. If it was a straight out sprint, I don't know, you could do it any faster.
Like, literally, it's like he was like a motorcycle. And every time his feet would hit the ground, he's just like off, like, pew! And every time he was on one of these obstacles, he was taking every shortcut, but perfectly doing it and going incredibly fast. Like the guy never stopped. But more so, he did it against Adam Rayl of all people, which was even more shocking. So now It's like, I need to see these guys on Wolfpack Ninja Tour or something. Like, I need to see this matchup again.
It went to a relay at that point, and Kyle ended up slipping, and Sean ends up landing on his head on the tiles. Like, it was a nasty looking fall.
That was scary. That, like, somebody could have got really hurt right there. Like, that was, because I'm glad Sean, he could have easily just landed his feet anywhere, but he noticed that the guy was like on the pad and spread his legs out and just took the L. You know, he fell in the water, but in that he really avoided hurting the other guy. And I'm really happy about that, because that could have gone really poorly.
Yeah, if he decided to spring off of his head, I don't think it would have gone quite so well. So that meant that with both of them fallen, that it was Hunter versus Adam Rayl on that last leg, and I had no idea how that was going to go. Like, as fast as Adam
if
is,
there's anybody in the world you do not want to be going in a racing against when it comes to upper body, it's probably Adam Rayl. Dude is not only fast, but he is just this massive tank of a person. Like, you're going to tell me Hunter Guerard is going to find a way to get around Adam Rayl on that thing? No way.
He made a valiant attempt. I gotta give him some credit there. He definitely tried, but he's just too big of a guy.
Yeah.
So that meant that the Lizard Kings were out. The Tryhards were going to the finals versus Party Time. Two of my picks facing off, and
I'm sure you were quite happy.
I was very happy. I was just excited to see every run that was coming.
Yeah. I was excited because these are two of the strongest teams, and I really thought it could go either way. I did feel like Tryhards had, the leg up on it, but I just didn't know where it would be.
Yeah, it ended up going into extra relays. I don't know if I can break down every single run here, but there were so many good moments. Jake Murray versus Adam Rayl.
The run of the night for me was the penultimate matchup where Sean Bryan found a way to scoot his body, like pressing against the zigzag wall, and shimmy his way to the pad. Because really the story of the night for this final portion was that zigzag wall was super slippery, covered in a lot of, perspiration and everything else. Perspiration, is that the right term? No. What the hell is that term?
Precipitation?
Yeah, there you go. Precipitation. I'm like, perspiration. That ain't it.
I mean, it probably was, but still.
Well, it was covered in, precipitation and just, very wet. And he found a way to get through that. It was very clear. The upper part, it seems like it folds out a lot more, and it's just a little bit more slippery. And a lot of people were having issues with that. By the way, Barclay, that was brutal, man. I so wanted her to get up there.
Oh.
But she, put her main mistake, I think, was, in her just attempt at anything, put her feet up there, and she was just draining out her arms, because by putting her feet up, all of her weight goes to her arms right there, and there's no way you can just get up with your arm. You have to use your feet to get up in that final part. So I think she just drained out her arms doing that. But at the end of the day, I wasn't there. Who knows, maybe that was her only option. Look, I have no traction here.
Right, I think she was just getting desperate at that point to get her feet onto something solid, and yeah, it happens. I'm pretty sure Jeff Britton, when he was on the episode a few episodes back, said that there was a waterfall nearby, and it was actually causing a lot of misting, and they had wiped it off, but it got wet and slick at times.
So yeah, Adam Rayl falls at the final relay, and Party Time makes it to the end. So it's interesting. I'm very curious to see who the final team is. I still feel like Ronan has it next week, and Ronan's honestly my pick to win the entire season now that Tryhards are out, but it could very easily be Party Time winning for a second time.
Very cool prospect. I'm really hoping to... I'm loving every episode. As great as the early episodes were, the playoffs have been fantastic.
This is the good stuff.
It's so cool. So cool. So that is it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure to subscribe and rate us on Apple Podcasts. That helps us out so much. So if you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as Rich at ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, Mr. Ninja Warrior, how can they reach you?
Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151. I very much appreciate all the love and support you guys have given me.
All right, thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all. I'm an American Ninja Warrior! Woo!